beliefs. The court ruled that that policy was compelling Garrity's speech and ruled for her. Yes, so thank you for allowing me the opportunity to highlight the legal precedent.
Thank you very much. Next on the list is Representative Boso.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move previous question.
Okay, we have 3 hands on objection. All those in favor of the motion to previous question, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Previous question. Madam Clerk, would you please take the vote on item number 1270, House Bill 1270. Madam Clerk, open up the roll. Vote. What?
We've always been told.
Representative Johnson, you're out of order. Okay, House Bill. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 14 ayes, 3 nays, 1 present not voting.
Okay, House Bill 1270 does move out to Finance. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
Okay, is Leader Williams back in the room yet? Okay, that brings us to number 17, House Bill 0006 by Representative Hale. Let me get to that one. 17. Okay, members, we are now on item 17, House Bill 6 by Representative Hale. You're recognized. You got a motion, second.
Thank you, Chairman. House Bill 6 would simply allow local school districts to enroll students in their voluntary pre-K program if the number of enrolled at-risk students does not meet the maximum class size. Students can be enrolled if they meet certain criteria. I had a director of schools last week after we had it in subcommittee. Her statement was this, having been a director and understanding, trying to hire teachers and stuff. She said this bill will help districts recruit teachers that want to come teach from another district. So with that, I renew my motion.
We have the presentation on House Bill 6 before us by Representative Hale. Chairman Slater, do you have a question? Previous question has been called. Any objection to the previous question? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please take the vote? What is it? Take the vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes, 0 nays, and 1 present not voting.
Thank you. House Bill 6 moves out to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Committee and Chair.
Brings us to item number 18, House Bill 47 by Representative Hale. You're recognized. You got a motion and a second.
We are actually rolling this one till the second calendar of 26.
Thank you. Without objection, House Bill 47 is rolled to the second calendar of 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, will the Sergeant at Arms let Leader Williams know that we're ready for him when he's ready to come in? Until then, let's go to item number 19, House Bill 134 by Representative Davis. Representative Davis, you have, let's make sure, number 19, okay. House Bill 134, you have any amendments on your bill?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to go with 5495.
5495.
Yes,
Does
sir,
he rewrite the bill?
It was the one that was placed on subcommittee. Yes, sir.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on 5495. It does rewrite the bill, what we did in subcommittee.
Yes, sir.
Okay, since it rewrites the bill, any objection to adding the amendment onto the House, to the bill? Hearing no objection. All those in favor of adding the amendment to the bill, please say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, go ahead and explain what your bill is doing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee. Since 2010, the European Union requires that food containing Allura Red, which is the equivalent of what we call red dye 40 here in the United States. That same chemical, that they have to have a warning label that reads that it may have an adverse effect on the activity and the attention on children. Currently, there are approximately 24 states that are moving legislation and have passed legislation that are eliminating these dyes either from the school foods or the foods in that state. West Virginia just passed it to where their school nutrition program will take effect this summer, and then all foods in 2028. Virginia passed similar legislation, except for it was related to school foods. And that's what we're asking here. We've got Hawaii, Iowa, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Missouri, Florida, all have active legislation on banning these food dyes from school lunches. When I asked TennCare to give me the top 25 lists of medications, the ADHD medications for 18 and under here in our state. With those 25 medications, some of them can be prescribed to children as young as 3. We are prescribing 25,280 young people with ADHD medication to a total of over $67 million last year. I have numerous letters from various professionals and researchers that have expertise in attention deficit hyperactivity disorder that have stated that in 2021 there's been peer-reviewed studies, comprehensive assessments. Some of these that have written this letter to me in support of this bill. They're from Niswonger University of Excellence in Development Disorders. We've got some from the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences and National Toxicology Program. An adjunct professor of pediatrics from Stanford University of Medicine, professor emeritus of psychology and behavioral sciences from the Wellness Institute of Neurosciences. One of the most important one is the professor emeritus of developmental psychopathy and School of Psychology in the University of Southampton in the UK. And that's the most known study that really addresses this issue. I think what a lot of people don't understand is that the military and our armed forces don't accept people that are on ADHD medication. You have to get a medical waiver to say that you will be all right without the medication, or you have to have not taken it within 24 months of enrollment. If there's a simple way that we can help our students be successful in the classroom and be healthy, this is something that we should move forward with. The Department of Education has looked at the vendor list. We've met with them. They are not in opposition to this legislation whatsoever. They can use alternative food products that are accepted under the vendor list. And I would hope that y'all would pass this bill.
Okay, thank you, Representative Davis. Quick question. We're working on the one that we had in subcommittee, which is the red dye only.
Yes, sir.
Is the language still in the bill where the exception is there for the concessions, fundraising events for schools?
So I'll read that for you. So it says that what they did was that they said that it was for the school nutrition program only, so that way it wouldn't incorporate those concessions if people had school parties or fundraisers or any of those outside activities. So that's how legal drafted that, to just say that it was specifically targeted to the school nutrition program. So it wouldn't impact vending machines and those other ancillary things.
Thank you very much. I'm going to recognize Representative Johnson. You're recognized for a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is only the red dye, because it's my understanding that there are several dyes that are suspect when it comes to having to do with behavioral issues with children.
You're recognized.
You're correct. You have yellow 5, we call it yellow 5, yellow 6, blue 1, blue 2, green 3. They are.
Okay. And also,
quickly, we have one, I know you want to speak. We had the rules where you came in, one question, but go ahead and follow up, then we'll move on. This is
The studies that I've read, I delved into it when I saw your bill. I thought it was really interesting, and I wanted to see what the studies were. And the studies that I found, the only conclusive study was done on mice, and they were fed a diet of 10% red 40. And so there's a suspicion that it could have to do, but the science hasn't proven yet in human beings that this is the effect. So most of what I read had to do with saying that we need to have more studies on this, that it is not conclusive that it has an effect on humans, but there is just a thought that a lot of these could, because they have had an effect on animals when fed at a really high amount. So does that concern you at all?
You recognize?
So in one of the letters that I received from the Center of Science and Public Interest, they stated that it can cause neurobehavioral problems in some children. According to the California Environmental Protection Agency, in 2021, those experts completed a peer-reviewed systematic review of the evidence, including 27 human clinical trials, and concluded that the consumption of synthetic food dyes, including red 40, can cause or exacerbate neurobehavioral problems in children. And so I've had numerous mothers and families reach out to me in support of this bill because they have had their children react.
Okay, thank you very much. Chairman Spicky? Question been called. Any objection to the question? Hearing no objection, we have one objection, but Madam, need at least three. So Madam Clerk, would you please put the vote on the board? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 14 ayes and 4 nays.
Okay, thank you very much. House Bill 134 does move out to calendar and rules. Thank you. Okay, Chairman Williams is here. Leader Williams, we'll go back to item number 5 on your calendar. Got a motion second. We're on House Bill 1344. Leader Williams, we have a motion second. You're recognized. Do you have any amendments?
Thank you, Chairman, members. I do have a amendment, drafting code 6520, that is hopefully filed with the committee that's incorporates.
Rewrites the bill? Is it untimely filed? Give me 1 second with legal. Which one?
Okay. Thank you, Chairman, for your unbelievable legal staff and the promotion to leader. I'd like the clerk to recognize that. The drafting code is 6661. It's untimely, Chairman.
This is an untimely filed commitment. Do I have a motion to consider? Do I have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second to consider. All in favor to consider, please say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. You have a motion to consider the lately timed amendment.
Thank you. The late filed amendment simply makes a change as it relates to the commissioner. It's a technical change to the timely filed amendment that I originally referenced earlier. And so I'm happy to discuss the entirety of the two amendments if that's what you wish.
We got a motion and a second, and we're on amendment 6661. You might want to change that number, by the way, but so
yes, sir.
We're on the all in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. So the untimely amendment is adopted.
Thank you, Chairman and members. This bill would allow for the existing funds, which are in TSU's balance sheet that were originally issued by this body for capital projects, to be distributed to TSU through consultation with the Comptroller's Office and distributed by the Commissioner of Finance Administration, and to be handled much like a expansion request would be in finance, where the two chairs of full finance from both the House and Senate would also be consulted. As the body may be aware, TSU is facing some financial challenges, and this would allow us to set up a system managed by the Comptroller's Office, who's here today, which would enable those funds to be utilized for operational expenses in order to preserve the commitments that TSU's previous board and president had made with the new board and president. With that, Chairman and members, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Chairman Slater?
Move previous question.
Okay, previous question has been called for. Any objection to that question? Hearing none, we'll put it on the board. So would the clerk please put the vote on the board for House Bill 1344? Madam Clerk, take the vote. Where does it go to?
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 ayes and 0 nays.
Thank you, Clerk. House Bill 1344 moves out to Finance. Thank you, sir. You also have item number 11, Committee, by Leader Williams. Got a motion and a second. Did I get a second? Okay, second. Okay, House Bill 764. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Do have an amendment, drafting code 4680, which was traveling from the subcommittee.
Yeah, 4680 committee. It was timely filed. It does rewrite the bill. So any objection to add the amendment to the bill for proper discussion? Hearing no objection, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Your bill is before us.
Thank you, Chairman and members. This bill stems from an incident or a challenge which occurred with the search of 5 individuals at a school system in my district, reached out by a parent of one of the children that was searched. The concern being protections of the family and, in this case, the child and the parents' 14th Amendment rights. I want to thank the Sheriff's Association and the Department of Education for helping me rewrite the amendment that's before you. What this does is seeks to require training that is by the State Department of Education for those who principals or assistant principals who do searches of children, so that it preserves the child's constitutional rights, but allows them to search for minor things in the event something there is a suspicion that a child does have something there. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman Sapicki. Question's been called. Any objection to that question? Hearing none. So we're now on House Bill 764, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, take the vote. Where's it go?
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 ayes and 0 nays.
House Bill 764 moves out to calendar and rules. That brings us to item number 12, House Bill 1175. Leader Williams, you're recognized. You got a motion and a second. Let's see if we got any amendments to put it in order.
Yes, Chairman. I have an amendment drafting code 5969.
That is correct. It rewrites the bill. Got a motion and a second. Any objection to adding the amendment to the bill, since it does rewrite for proper discussion? Hearing no objection, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Please explain your bill.
Thank you, Chairman and members. This bill was amended, is the byproduct of Tasser's work over the summer with a bill last year that Chairman Watson and I asked Tasser to study about the challenges associated with daycare across the state. As you know, as well as I do, one of the biggest challenges is finding affordable daycare in our state. The Tasser study made several recommendations as which we could improve the current regulatory system associated with daycares, and this bill does 3 things. It gives child care centers the same ability as we granted charter schools to utilize underutilized properties in the event that were to occur. This currently is being done for the first time already out of the use of my old high school in Sullivan County. They turned it into a middle school and a daycare facility for staff there. So this would streamline that process if there were another place in order to do that. Second, the bill addresses the problems that school-based child care programs have, like YMCAs who may be operating them. It allows them ease of access to do that. And finally, the bill addresses something that I see in the construction business when home-based childcare is needing to retrofit a home to meet the requirements of the facility, like ADA ramps and things like that. This section allows the bill or classifies a child care home as a residential property for the purposes of that, so you wouldn't have to upgrade those as long as it met the limits for a single residential home. With that, Chairman, members, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Leader Williams. Quick question from me. We do have another bill on the calendar day, number 25, that's pretty much identical, I believe, to this. You may disagree. Have you had any conversations with that member? Is that okay? I was just told it was taken off notice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know who carried that bill, but I'm sure this one is much better.
Okay. I got clarity. Okay. Okay, members, questions were on House Bill 1175. Representative Hakeem.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Williams, when it comes to charter schools or daycare, is there I don't know if the term should be pecking order as to who would have first right of refusal or something like that?
You're recognized, Leader.
Thank you, Representative. The answer to the question is that the bill that stated last year, the charter school would have first preferential treatment to that. The parties involved in the discussion of this bill have worked out a solution as written. That's what's reflected in this bill. But as you well may know, a daycare facility, as far as footprint, is much smaller than that would be needed by a charter school. So the opportunity to carve out a small place for daycare facilities would be much better and easier, more easily achieved. So thank you for the question.
Thank you. Representative Raper? I call the question. Okay, question been called. Any objection to the question? We're on House Bill 1175. No objections. Would the clerk please put the vote on the board for item number 12, 1175? Madam Clerk, take the vote. Where does it go?
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 ayes and 0 nays.
House Bill 1175 goes out to GovOps.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Leader Lambert. Leader Williams. Okay, that brings us to item number 20 on our calendar. HB 1153 is Representative Lynn in the room. Okay, Sergeant Arms might want to reach out to her. We'll roll her 2 spaces. Go to item 21, House Bill 392 by Representative Butler. You got a motion second on 22. Excuse me, on item number 21, House Bill 392. Let me get there real quick. Okay, House Bill 392, you recognize, sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe we have an amendment, and I probably got several amendments on your list.
Yeah.
And I want to put on Amendment 4940.
4940. You got a motion and second on 4940. I see where it does rewrite the bill.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Without any objection to adding it to the bill for proper discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adding Amendment 4940 to the bill indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, you recognize.
This legislation addresses small high schools, which I have several high schools in my district in one county that graduate less than 30 students. We actually have 3 K through 12 schools in one county, and there are times when those schools, as they're so small, do not graduate 30 students. There's about just under a dozen schools across the state that this will affect, but this would assist in getting them a career and technical grade when they receive their letter grade for the school system. And so it drops the threshold from 30 down to 20. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. It's my understanding this is the same amendment that from DOE adopted and Senate Ed.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Representative Bosso.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move previous question.
Previous question has been moved. We're on House Bill 392. Any objection to the question being called? Here is none. Madam Clerk, please put the vote on the board for House Bill 392. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes, 0 nays, 1 present not voting.
Okay, where does it go? House Bill 392 goes to calendar and rules. Thank you. You have one more on our calendar today. Item 22, House Bill 1147. You got a motion and a second on the bill. Any amendments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, amendment number 5628.
5628. It does say it makes the bill.
That
Okay,
is
so you
correct,
got
Mr.
a
Chairman.
motion and a second on the amendment. Any objection to adding it to the bill for proper discussion? Hearing no objection. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Go ahead and explain the bill now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As amended, this legislation would allow the child of a law enforcement officer or firefighter who is killed in the line of duty to attend a public college or university in Tennessee for free. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. And this is only if the money's available, so you don't have a fiscal note on this, is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Members, with that before us, any questions? Representative Raper. Previous question has been called. Any objection to the previous question? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please put the vote on the board. Please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes and 0 nays.
Thank you. House Bill 1147 moves out to finance. Thank you. Okay. Is Chair Lady Lynn come back in yet? Okay. Item number 23, House Bill 1281 by Representative Hill. Is he in here? Okay. Brings us to number 24 on the calendar, House Bill 1085 by Representative Martin. Okay, let's keep going down the list till we get one a minute. A lot of people carrying bills in other committee. Item number 25, House Bill 698 by Leader Camper. Okay, without objection, House Bill 698 by Leader Camper has been taken off notice. Item 27, House Bill 505 by Leader Gant. You're recognized.
Motion. Second.
You got a motion and a second. Let me get my paperwork. Okay, House Bill 505, Leader Gant, you have any amendments?
No, sir.
You do show one. Or you want to add it 5212?
Yeah, I thought it was actually traveling.
That was traveling. Okay, is already adopted?
Yeah.
Adopt again. Okay, but we do have to adopt it again since it does rewrite the bill. So, members, House Bill, I need a motion and a second on the amendment. Any objection to adding it to the bill for proper discussion?
Chairman, can you verify the number?
I've got 5212.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So any objection to adding the amendment to the bill for proper discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, we have your bill properly before us, so go ahead and explain House Bill 505.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. What this bill does is this is known as the Alyssa's Law that we passed last year under the pilot program, and it converts the School Safety Alert Grant pilot program to a statewide 2-year Safety Alert Grant program. It removes the limit on the number of grants that may be awarded in a fiscal year. It creates a separate fund within the general fund to be known as the School Safety Alert Grant Fund. And we are looking to appropriate about $750,000 towards this specific program. Now, the governor has actually put in $20 million for school safety, which can also be used for this. But as we've seen in the past, that money gets, gobbled up pretty quickly and used for other measures other than this school safety program. So hopefully at some point we'll in the future have a bill that actually mandates this across the state. I know Representative Bulso has been a very big fan of this. Me and him have partnered on this legislation for the last couple of years, and I want to give a thanks to him for his help on this legislation as well. So that's all we're doing is pretty much taking this from the pilot program to a full-time program, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, that explanation from Representative Gant before us. Any questions on the bill? Representative Slater?
Question on the bill.
question's been called. Any objection to the question? Seeing no objection, Madam Clerk, put the vote on the board. Madam Clerk, take the vote. Where does it move to?
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 ayes and 0 nays.
Thank you. House Bill 505 moves out to GovOps.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Lee. Okay, I see. Let me back up here. Let's go back to item number 23, House Bill 1281 by Representative Hill.
Thank you, Chairman. I've got an amendment 005966.
Let's make sure 5966 does rewrite the bill. Members, okay, got a motion, second on the amendment. Any objection to adding the amendment to the bill since it rewrites it? Hear no objection. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Go ahead and explain your bill, Representative Hill.
All right, thank you, Chairman. This legislation adds in a background check for independent entities that are engaging in release time. Currently, the way that the law reads and our current posture is that individuals participating in release time don't have to have a background check. And so we're trying to increase security for our students by requiring this. As the subcommittee knows, it's been a little bit more difficult than what we'd originally anticipated. And so the bill as amended puts the onus on the independent entity to make that background check and also communicate with the LEA that background check has been completed and that the individuals that are coming into contact with our students have passed that background check appropriately.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this bill. I'm surprised that any school will let students out of school for whatever reason without knowing who they're going with. So it sounds like a good bill to me.
Thank you, Chairman.
Members, anyone else? Representative Raper? Okay, the question's been called. Any objection to the question? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, put the vote. Madam Clerk, please take the vote. Where'd it go?
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes and 0 nays.
Thank you. House Bill 1281 moves out to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Thank you. Thank you. We got item number 24, House Bill 1085 by Representative Martin. We got a motion and a second. Representative Martin, let's see, no amendments, it doesn't look like?
No, sir.
Okay, House Bill 1085 is before us with a motion second. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. Schools presently are administering policies within review the suitability of materials in their libraries, and materials that are deemed to be unsuitable may be removed. What this bill does, House Bill 1085, is that this would prohibit an LEA or public charter school from removing any material in a library solely because it is religious. This bill seeks to reaffirm Tennessee's commitment to the First Amendment of the Constitution. And with that, I'll stand ready for any question.
Okay, with that explanation before us, Representative Bolso.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move previous question.
Previous question has been called on House Bill 1085. Any objection to that question? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, put the vote on the board. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes, 0 nays, 1 present not voting.
Okay, House Bill 1085 moves out to calendar rules.
Thank you,
Thank
Chairman
you,
and
sir.
Committee.
Did Representative Lynn come in? Okay. Okay, we'll roll that to the hill of the calendar as of now. House Bill 1153, item number 20 on your calendar, rolled to the hill. Okay, someone's been sitting here patiently every day. Representative Hardaway. Members, go to item number 28, House Bill 485. Motion and a second. Let me get to that one here. Okay. Do you have any amendments?
No, sir.
Yeah. Members, just for a little background, this is the one that was passed out of subcommittee earlier. It was full committee also. It got to calendar and rules and it was called back.
Yes, we know.
It was it was pulled back. And it's before us again. So 485 is before us. I recognize you, the sponsor, to go ahead and present the bill again. Representative Hurt, you want me to recognize you? You're recognized.
Mr. Chair, I actually filed the amendment, so I didn't know if what direction you wanted to go.
That may be on 1113.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm out of order there.
No problem. No problem. Representative Hardaway.
Thank you, Chairman. House Bill 485 authorizes local education agencies and public charter schools to provide up to 4 days of the required 180 days of classroom instruction via hybrid learning in the event of dangerous or extreme weather conditions.
That's your explanation. Chairman speaking.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One quick question. So your bill, we have 180 days allocated. Your bill does not extend to 184. It keeps it at 180 and allows them the flexibility of these four virtual days. Is that correct?
Yes, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman Slater.
Motion on the bill.
Okay, the motions. You okay? Thank you. Previous question has been called on House Bill 485. Any objection to the question? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please put the vote on the board. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 ayes and 0 nays.
Okay, thank you. House Bill 485 moves right back to calendar and rules. Better luck this time. Okay, you have one more. House Bill 1113 by Chairman Representative Hardaway.
Second. Thank
got
you.
A motion and second on your bill. See if we got any amendments that we need to.
We do, sir. One that rewrites the bill, and Sponsor Hurt would have that
Okay, let me
amendment.
go ahead and recognize Representative Hurt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I did have Amendment 6377.
6377. Is this just an addition to it, or does it rewrite it?
Rewrites the bill.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion second on 6377. Since it does rewrite the bill for proper discussion, any objection? Okay, I need to back up. Representative Hardaway, you are recognized on the amendment before we go down that road.
Yes, sir. It's a friendly amendment.
It is a friendly amendment.
Yes.
Okay. So back, any objection to add the amendment to the bill for proper discussion? Hearing no objection. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, your bill is amended, and go ahead and explain and what the amendment does and all.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It rewrites the bill and it expands the original bill participation to include hospitals, children's hospitals from each of the grand divisions and a member of a governing organization for student athletes for sports.
Okay, I think that was a question I had some come to me about that we're not taking off the advisory committee. Some hospitals that have already been on this. Is that correct, Representative Hurt?
Yes, sir. As far as I know, that's what I understood.
Okay, well, good. Also, I also want to make clarity. Amendment 3727 legal, is that on there? No. Okay, you wanted to name.
That should be in the.
It's in that bill. Okay.
To that amendment.
Just wanted to point out that you did want to name this bill after Dennis D.J. Price Jr. In that, so I'll make sure that was on there for you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, it sounds like we have a bill before us that's properly amended. Any questions on the bill to Representative Hardaway before we move on? If not, Representative Raper.
Call the question.
Question been called. Any objection to the question? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please put the vote on the board for House Bill 1113. Okay. Take the vote, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 ayes and 0 nays.
House Bill 1113 does go out to Finance.
Thank you, Chairman. And if I may, special appreciation to LeBonner, to Vanderbilt's Children's Hospital, and to my collaborator on this, Chairman Hurt.
Thank you. You had a good bill, and I appreciate what Chairman Hurt did, and adding that made the bill even better. And thank you for your patience with us.
Thank you.
Okay, Representative Lynn, wait a second, she's re-rolled that to the Hill. Okay. Members, go to item number 26, which is HB 1262 by Representative Renault. That has been taken off notice. Is that complete? Give me just 1 second. Okay. What number? Item number 30. Oh, that's right. Okay. Members, go to item number 30, House Bill 1383. Representative Harris could not be here today, but Chairman Sapicki has signed on to that. Chairman Sapicki, you're recognized.
Motion.
You got a motion and a second on the bill. Go ahead and walk us through this.
Mr. Chairman, can I get a second to talk with legal real quick?
Yeah, without objection, out of session. 1 moment.
Mr. Chairman, we're going to, there's an amendment that needs to go on this. Representative Harris is not here. I'm going to refile that amendment in my name so I can run that amendment for him. So I'd like to roll this to 5 spots from the Hill.
Okay, House Bill 1383. Okay, we are back in session. Thank you. House Bill 1383 is rolled five spots from the Hill of today's calendar. All right. What about, see if we got any more that we got to deal with.
That's all I got to do is sign it.
Oh, we still got 30 minutes. So I tell you what, let's start back and let's see what, members, I thank you for being patient with me. We just are having to move through today quickly, and I appreciate your patience and helping me with the rules so we could just work smartly on this. And we got through those outside, but we still have time on the committee, and then we start taking up some other bills if they are in here. You recognize Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That was my original question. There were a couple of bills I thought were kind of unfair to bring up in the expedited session. I guess I'll ask that, as you said, we'll have more time in the 3 o'clock, whatever time in this session. I would ask if you bring in any more of these bills forward, that they truly be non-confrontational. They'd be easy bills, and you leave the ones that and give us more time to ask questions on those ones that are a lot more meaty.
I understand. We will do our best to accommodate as long as we move promptly through. Members, turn to item number 31. See if we can start on bills that are members of the committee, since we have taken care of those who are outside of the committee. Excuse me, Representative Hurd, are you ready to present? Okay. House Bill 348, item number 31 on your calendar, Representative. You got a motion and a second on your bill. You do have an amendment, and that would be?
I have 5087, Mr. Chairman.
Rewrites the bill according to my notes. Any objection to add an amendment?
Second.
We've got a motion second on 5087, add it to the bill. Any objection to adding it to the bill for proper discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The nay. The ayes have it. Your bill is before us, proper. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this bill just deals with maintenance of effort obligations, and this bill simply says that if a funding body fails to fund their budgeted maintenance of effort level for their LEA, then before they can increase the level of any of their other maintenance of effort obligations, they must first fully fund the education maintenance of effort. It's a simple fix that strengthens existing maintenance of effort protections and makes sure schools, which are the biggest budget item in most Tennessee counties, aren't left behind due to unrealistic projections from other sources. And basically, it gives teeth to our maintenance of effort. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll take any questions.
Okay, members, we're on House Bill 348. Any questions from the committee on this particular bill from the explanation that Representative Hurd has given us? Representative Raper? Okay, the question's been called. Any objection to the question? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please take the vote. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes, 0 nays, 1 present not voting.
Thank you. House Bill 348 by Representative Hurt moves out to Finance. Let's take a look at item number 32, House Bill 178 by Representative Bolso. You got a motion and a second. You have any amendments, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have one.
Amendment 4415?
Yes, that is it.
Okay, let's see. It does not rewrite the bill. Would you go ahead, we have a motion, second amendment. Would you go ahead and explain it and see if we want to add it to the bill?
Yes, the amendment simply delays the effective date of this bill from July 1, 2026, and applies it to the 2026. Let me start that over, Mr. Chairman. This amendment delays the effective date of the bill until July 1 of 2026, so that it applies to the 2026-2027 school year and thereafter.
Okay, just a date correction on that. Representative Kennedy, did you have a question?
On the bill.
On the bill, okay. That was the explanation of the amendment 4415. Any further discussion on the amendment? We have a motion and a second on it. Any objection to adding it to the bill for discussion? Seeing no objection, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, Representative Boso, please explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this is a bill that seeks to add a requirement to our family life curriculum in Title 49. And specifically, it seeks to add what has become known as the success sequence. It builds on work that our federal Department of Health and Human Services did in its efforts to avoid poverty. And what it found is that if students follow the following sequence: education, employment, marriage, and children, that is a sequence that the data shows is very helpful in avoiding poverty. And in the recitals to this bill, we set out many of the statistics and much of the data that the Department of Health and Human Services compiled from 2018 until 2020. And just one data point that I'll mention is that the data showed that when you look at millennials who followed that, what is called success sequence, where they finished their education or got a high school equivalent, and they then entered college or a CTE program or a trade, and then entered into employment, and then were married and then had children, 97% of those millennials avoided poverty. So the whole thrust of the success sequence is that it's a way of driving economic opportunity for all students. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, let me go to Representative McKenzie. He had his hand raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, this is one of those bills. It's a messaging bill, but it's a bad bill. It's a bad bill for two distinct reasons. You're instructing students. You're talking to a class of 25, 30 students. And I guarantee you, whether rural or urban, there are going to be 20 to 50% of those kids did not come from a nuclear family. Half those kids probably have grandmothers raising them, grandfathers raising them. So you're shaming those kids in that curriculum. No matter how eloquent you try, you're going to shame those kids. and to basically say that you're not going to be successful, you're half as likely to be successful as little Johnny over here, is shameful. Additionally, that's no measure. I was a father before I was a husband. I did okay. Pretty good, I think. So to teach this to force this curriculum down our students' throats, it's just bad. You can eloquently put it, you can formally state it, but this is a bad situation. Imagine you're a 15-year-old in a classroom, and you're planning to go to college, and you're planning to do better, you're planning to do whatever, or do the same as your parent, and you're getting this curriculum taught to you, shoved down your throat.
Before I go back, would you like to ask Representative Boso a direct question? I know you're explaining what your belief, but would you like to ask him a direct question and I let him respond?
So again, this is one of these bills. This is one of these bills, Mr. Chair, that I've asked you twice about. I don't know. I get that we have bills.
Now, I'm slowing down. I just want you to ask a direct question. You're good. I just want you to ask a direct question. So if you want Representative Boso to respond.
I didn't know that was our rule.
We'll keep.
Okay. All right.
Keep
Thank
going.
you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Why would you dare force our students who aren't in this situation currently to endure the fact that you're telling them that they're going to be in poverty, or more than likely they're going to have a life of poverty and shame? Why would you do that?
Thank you. Representative Boso, would you like to respond to?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to. The answer is that is not what the bill does. That's not what the instruction does. This is a bill that is focused on avoiding poverty, bringing folks out of poverty. It's a bill about economic opportunity, and it comes from data. And what is going to be taught in the family life curriculum with regard to this topic is simply data, economics. It's going to show the economic opportunity that's available to students when they actually follow a particular timeline that has been demonstrated factually by data-driven analysis to generate a life outside of poverty. And it's not something that comes anywhere from the right. It's based on data from the Department of Health and Human Services. It comes from the Brookings Institute, a center-left organization. We can look at other historical figures. Frederick Douglass comes to mind because I understand he's been credited with having said, in words or in substance, that it's easier to train a child than to repair a man. And it's demonstrated that the nuclear family is the best antidote that we have in society to avoiding poverty. And when you look at the details of the report that the Health and Human Service Department authorized, one of the things they do is actually quote Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who said, quote, "The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little," close quote. And so what this bill does is simply use data to demonstrate to students how to avoid poverty.
All right, Mr. McKenzie, hang on. I think he's trying to give you an answer. Well, okay. Okay, let's stop. Representative Boso, I just stop you right there. Representative McKenzie, what is he not addressing that he's speaking longer? You say it's one of these bills, and we all interpret things different. I'm going to give you another minute. Respond, please. While you're okay. I'm going to go to Representative Reeves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to confirm something, and I think I know the answer because I'm reading the language, but I think this came up in another committee. Representative Boso, if you would just confirm the second step of the success sequence can not mean just college, but a TCAT certificate or other skills-based, or just entering the workforce, if you would.
Representative Boso.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Representative Reeves, I'm happy to confirm that. Obviously, pursuing a trade or a technical field is a great way of life.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Representative Johnson, if you would ask the question on the bill that we're on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, there are as many paths to becoming successful as there are human beings. None of these things, like I looked into research on becoming successful and looked at wide bodies of research because, again, the assumption that it was this that made someone successful encouraged me to delve into the research myself. You know, what I found were a lot of characteristics that make people successful. It's grit, it's determination, it's free will, it's hard work, it's your health, both physical and mental. It's about your intelligence, your emotional intelligence, which involves problem-solving skills, your ability as a leader, your ability to set and follow goals. We should not teach children that their circumstance is what determines success, but that they have the qualities needed to go beyond whatever their circumstances are so that they can be successful. My colleague is right. When you tell someone this is the way to go about it, I will guarantee you in this room less than 50% got there this way. And so the reality is what we need to teach our kids is grit and determination and how to overcome the things that might hold them back. I mean, this is really rich coming from someone who's going to force a 10-year-old to carry a baby from their rapist and
Okay,
then tell them.
Let's stay on the bill. Okay. Where's the mic on? Okay, let's move on. All right, we're going to move. Thank you. Members, what I'd like to ask, these bills, well, I listen to it, I hear one thing, and I read one thing, and I'm going to slow down and spend a little time on this because we did well, and then we'll come back this afternoon. I want us to really listen to each other because I'm always amazed how we hear things and one person interprets it entirely different from another person. So how do we get closer to the middle? And one thing I've learned is truly listen to what the other person is saying. I'm listening to what you're saying, and I see that, you know, my background and diversity and everything, I see things a little bit different, and everybody does. But if we truly listen to each other, I think we'd come to the conclusion that we are saying a lot of the same thing. I believe that there are certain principles in life that you do follow for success, and that's what I think the bill sponsor is bringing before us. But let's just make sure that we totally listen before we object. Let's go to, you may respond. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, and I agree, and I do always listen to those who have differing opinions from me. And my concern with this bill is it focuses more on your circumstances than the characteristics you need to be successful, to get over the hump on those things that, you know, if you have to go outside of the normal path, that's what we need to be teaching children. I think that the idea that we're going to spend time, and again, I have to go back to, this goes into the same curriculum, that we are tripling the standards for the teachers who teach these courses and not adding a single minute to their time in the classroom. So in addition to, I think you're teaching the wrong information, we are tripling the standards in a course where we are not extending the time period 1 minute.
Thank you. Chairman Spicky.
Your bill's idea is solid in its premise. There was a representative who referenced these kids that come from all different kinds of backgrounds. There's many books out there that talks about if you want to be a millionaire, do millionaire things. If you want to be successful, do successful things. And I believe what you're trying to do, and correct me if I'm wrong here, sir, is that what you're trying to do is get good, solid information to all the different children of the state of Tennessee to understand that there is a path forward from the circumstances that you have, and it is a tried and true pathway. Is that correct, sir?
Representative Bolso?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Representative, that is correct.
Representative Barrett?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Mr. Sponsor, thank you for bringing the bill. We talked about this in subcommittee. And I just want to get back to the point of this committee and the purpose of what we're doing here as it relates to education. And the primary purpose of education and educating our children is to expose them to things that they may not have experienced personally. And in letting them know that there are other alternatives than the only experience that they've ever known in their lives. And so we do it in our social studies curriculum. We do it in our English literature curriculum. We are constantly putting things in front of our children that they are not aware of or that they've not had personal experience with, so that we can educate them and give them the tools and the options and the knowledge to know that there may be different ways of doing things, different ways of going about things, not just the one that they've been taught at home, not just the one that they've experienced personally. And so adding this to the curriculum to allow a conservative notion to be put out there for folks that may not be exposed to conservative ideology or a conservative way of life is not a bad thing. It's a good thing that exposes a lot of kids to a philosophy and an ideology that clearly, by the data, works. Thank you for bringing the bill, and I wholeheartedly support what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Okay, everybody's on my list. Since we are close to time, we'll be closing out. Representative Coonsey, I will come back to you and let you close us out. Then we'll then I go back to Bolso.
Thank you. Now, I won't be long. The previous speaker made an eloquent point, a correct point, but it's only half the story. I agree that diversity, that conservatively raised family, student sitting in that 10th grade class, 11th grade class, he or she needs to understand that not everybody had it like they had it, that there are other ways to get to a successful ending. That should be a crosstalk. This bill only says there's one way to be successful, and I'm sitting here as a living testimony that there are multiple ways to come to success. As my colleague from Knox County said, grit, internal fortitude, those are the foundational things that we should be teaching. This bill says this is the way. This is the only way. I refute the data being conclusive. That's my concern with this bill. This bill says to a diverse group of students across our great state that you're better, than you have a better chance. You're going to make it. You're not going to make it. Statistics say this bill is picking winners and losers before adult life begins. That's my concern with this bill. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Representative Bolso, you can close us out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a brief response to my good friend from Knox County. This bill, once the standards are put together, is going to be teaching facts. It's not going to be teaching opinions. It's not even going to be teaching values necessarily. It's simply going to be taking data that our Federal Department of Health and Human Services has put together that shows how to avoid poverty, which is obviously a problem that we continue to have in this country. Even though President Johnson initiated a great society to correct it, it didn't work. As Ronald Reagan famously said in the 1980s, we declared war on poverty, and poverty won. So it's still an issue that we need to address. And frankly, if you look at the values part of this, I think it would be hard to argue against the proposition that the nuclear family is the best antidote to poverty and crime that we possibly have. And it's better than any government program that we could possibly come up with. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Members, good discussion. Representative Raper? Put your mic on.
I call the question.
Okay, question's been called on House Bill 178. Any objection to that question? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please put the vote on the board? Madam Clerk, take the vote. Where's it moved to?
Mr. Chairman, you have 15 ayes and 4 nays.
Thank you very much. House Bill 178 moves out to calendar and rule. Without objection, members, we are in recess until 3:30.